Live. Yes, that is right. It's Saturday night. It's 7 p.m. Eastern. So it is another episode of Cardboard Conversations. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We love to have you here. And, as I said, we're live. So hit us up in that comment section. Speaking of us, it's not just me. How we doing, fellas?
True. What's up?
We're doing true?
We're doing true.
I said true. It's not just him. Yeah, last week I had a surprise trip to Chicago for MagicCon that I didn't think I was going to go to. That I just decided to. I got invited to last minute, so that was fun. Got like no sleep, but overall it was a good time.
No
What
sleep
else
till
you do?
MagicCon? Yeah.
Mostly just played Commander, walked around, checked the vendors out. Did a couple events as far as they were like scavenger hunts basically. Scavenger hunts and then like a puzzle. If you solved like a puzzle for Bloomborough, you got a pin, and then if you did the scavenger hunt, you got a random pin. So it was interesting. They're nice pins, enamel, solid magic pins. One's like a blue mana symbol with a bunch of cool little designs, and the other one's it was like a pack where you just got a random pin inside. I got like some worm, snake, dragon thing. I don't know what it is.
It describes a lot of Magic the Gathering creatures. Worm, snake, dragon thing.
Yeah.
It is interesting how much Magic the Gathering and the community at large have leaned into like pins. It was never really a big thing for me. I don't think I've ever been exposed to it as much as I have been in Wizards, like this community.
I only really did the event because it was free. I'm like, I can't pass up a free Magic. But I mean, the pin looks nice, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I think at the moment it's like on my badge, or maybe I took it off. So there wasn't really any kind of it's not like a part of my collection as far as pins go.
Yeah, right. Like I don't
now.
have a place to show that stuff off. I don't have like a cool ball cap that I like to wear to events or anything like that. So I'm not sure how I'd show my love for it in that way, my enthusiasm, as it were.
Who knows?
Speaking of enthusiasm, Bob, you've shown some surprising enthusiasm for the Spider-Man set upcoming. I knew you were a really big Final Fantasy fan, but outside of that, I thought I was the one with all the enthusiasm for our web slinging savior.
I am very excited after seeing the products. I want them on my shelf. I
gotta say, I think that's something it's not the product line I was expecting out of all the different things that we've seen so far, the way that they've done a lot of their crossovers and IPs, how they've handled them. The products that they've got lined up for Spider-Man, I've got to say, I am actually more interested in owning than the Final Fantasy stuff, which anything I get from that is going to be a quick flip and a sell. But I really do like the easel artwork that they've done in past. The Lord of the Rings ones were really showy. They looked great. And we just got a spoiler for some of the Spider-Man ones. And like you said, I think that would be really cool shelf candy.
Isn't the Spider-Man set like 5 months away? Why are they?
Yeah, it's like 6.5. Yeah, it's September 27th is the release date for Spidey's.
We haven't seen any more spoilers that I'm aware of for Tarkir, other than the Chicago Con announcement.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen any spoilers that I'm aware of at all for the Galaxy Hole, whatever.
Oh, yeah,
is.
the
Eternities.
Yep. Which I gotta say, I love the concept of. This is a very entertaining year for me as far as Magic goes. I've got to say, we got some good stuff lined up. What are your thoughts on it?
So I expect that we'll start seeing the Last Airbender spoilers next week.
Yeah, early. End of the year, Magic spoilers next week.
Well, I even posted that they had pre-sales though up for Edge of Eternities, which also struck me as there's something very odd about their timing in the last week. Like they're almost desperate to get buzz, sales, something going in this first quarter. Like something drastically to turn around their
yeah, it's like they're trying to get sales for something very quickly. Like they've got to make rent money, and it's due very soon.
Yeah, like they're going to the pawn shop.
The Spider-Man set is there's no commander decks. I think this is the first standard set in like years that there's no commander decks for them.
And I'm fine with that. And actually, but they've got something for this set that they don't have for the other sets, and they're returning to a favorite from years ago, which I'm all in favor of.
Oh, what's that?
Well, you'd have to share what I'm sharing. So we might as well get right into it. So I love the box art. I think that's going to look amazing on a shelf. So clearly they've got the play boosters, and they have something interesting. I don't know how well you can see it here. I'll try to highlight it. I have no idea what that is.
It's a Mar card.
0 to 1 MAR card.
Mar cards. What is a Mar card?
I don't know. That's why I highlighted it. They have a wild card of any rarity. Is that normal?
I think it's like their secret guest kind of thing. Their special guest slot. I believe in some media I was listening to, they had spoken about there being a small bonus sheet of some sorts.
But this says wild card. Is that normal verbiage? I don't recall seeing that before.
Yeah, that's something we've had before.
Okay, then you have a wild card and a Mar card. Whatever that is. And I also like this. That they're getting rid of the advertisements on the back of the tokens. And it's going to be double-sided. I like double-sided tokens.
It's Marvel.
Okay. What is that? Is that like a comic book art? We'll get into that in a minute.
That's the Marvel sets. That's the expansion's name, MAR.
Okay. Aren't these all Marvel?
I don't know, because it says the Marvel set is SPM and SPE and MAR.
Yeah, okay. So it's probably like the special sheet.
So if that's the special sheet, then what's that?
So it says
it's just a random card.
Where's the
just a random card?
Yeah, they've used this verbiage previously. Wild card being, whether it's any certain type of border, whether it's foil or not, land, artifact, creature, legendary. It's a random card from the set. They've had this before.
So, Matt, you were saying?
I was just saying where the Mar cards are in. They're in. So SPM is standard legal. Marvel's Eternal legal is SPE and MAR. So that means their Commander, Legacy, and Vintage legals, and their individual cards are also legal where available. So there's one card that's standard, or one card that's Commander legal specifically, or I guess I should say Eternal legal. So it says let's see, play boosters contain cards from SPM and MAR. These are cards that are playable in draft and sealed when opened.
Okay. We'll get more into that later, I guess. I have to say, I'm not in love with the box art for the collector box. That does not jump out at me and go, ooh, I love that art. So it's the one product line here, thankfully, and it's the most expensive one. Since I'm not planning on cracking it, and it's only planning on sitting on my shelves, I may get one if I get my hands on it. But if I get none of this one, I think I'll be okay.
And they're already sold out as per standard. If you want any collector's items on Amazon for upcoming products, they're all sold out. So make sure you're checking out your reputable.
Did they put Spider-Man up for pre-sale?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So I'm fine with that. Love this box art.
Yeah, I gotta say,
I may open. See, in this is the collector packs. The collector packs definitely contain one Mar card. Then they have a traditional booster fun rare, whatever that is.
I hate the term booster fun. Gavin Vierhay, Mr. All Thumbs, you're ruining it.
So the
booster fun.
There is no. I didn't see a gift bundle in the lineup.
There's not. Yeah, it does not look like they've got a gift bundle. Some of the now what we consider more standard product line inclusions just are not here, which, Matt commented there's no commander decks. And as you're saying now, there's also no gift bundle. It's a very slim product line.
But, it's not. We're going to get there. there's an alternate art promo card. So I suspect that'll be something that they enjoy doing in bundles. Typically, they don't have them as often in the standard bundles, but in the gift bundle. It looks like they're going to include it in this bundle. Something to keep an eye on. But this, I mean, that's just shelf art right there. And this is actually the panoramic picture. There's 6 cards here, and we'll get into that in a bit. But they're actually all listed down here. I'm not going to get into it now because we're going to go into the art later. But I want to get some of these, depending on the price, of course.
It's really cool. I'm a fan of that. The inclusion of the just collector stuff, things for people who just love the art, that are fans of this. And I think that that's a great inclusion for people that might not be Magic the Gathering players. That's one of the things I think will sell a lot more for the crossover crowd.
So here is their half pre-con decks. So instead of having commander decks, they have welcome decks. I have a feeling these are going to be extremely difficult to get your hands on.
I don't.
Huh?
I don't. I think they're going to be super readily available. If they're standard legal play, and that's the only thing they're designed for, then
they're not for sale.
What do you mean they're not for sale?
These are the welcome decks coming back.
Like giveaways usually at local gaming stores.
Did we ever have welcome decks?
Yeah,
yeah, we did for many years.
They're quite uncommon to like actual entrenched Magic players because it's very low power. It's like the power of a starter.
And it's up to the LGS to give them out for free. Love you too, Sherry Vegas. So I'm happy to see these return, and I would love to have a full set at a minimum, which I think would be difficult unless you have a relationship with the LGS owner. If they follow suit with the traditional welcome packs, which they've had for years and years, but they stopped, I want to say around 2020, 2019. Somewhere in that ballpark. But I love the box art on these, and I think they would look great as shelf candy. I don't know exactly, what cards they're going to have in there. Maybe they'll have the front-facing commander in its normal version, but it's
30-card half
30-card half decks, meaning 30-card decks. They're meant just to be like hey, here, try out Magic. One will match
2 of them to smash together, right?
No. They're meant to be smaller decks, just like the Welcomes decks were in the past, and you play a 30-card game.
Why would they call them half decks? Why would they just call them 30-card decks? Like when I think of something the half, I think of it's not full. Like I have to make it a full deck by putting 2 together.
Yeah, and it gives you 2. Yeah, I get the feeling that it's.
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it's like Jumpstart, and they're going to do 60-card decks here because it says of the 2 half decks,
the other half is randomly inserted amongst the other options.
So that's different. They're actual 60-card decks.
It's like a giant. Instead of having to build your deck from packs, you build your deck from boxes.
No, it's a Jumpstart.
Wasted materials.
Well, when I say boxes, I mean small boxes. Like they're not.
It's a Jumpstart 60-card deck. Anyways, so that's a new product. That's I guess in place of the Commander decks. And I like it. I dig it. I think there's way too many Commander decks out there. The pre-cons, I don't like them. I think that there should be
they've definitely overdone it, in my opinion, as well. Yeah,
many fewer Commander decks.
I don't see there being a problem with having more Commander decks.
Okay, you're entitled to your opinion. My opinion is too many.
Why? What is having another Commander deck? What is it? How does that hurt?
Because it's just another reprint engine that they keep draining reprint equity from cards that exist, and it typically comes in the form of Commander decks.
Not very often are cards that are actually worth money are printed in Commander.
Like Jessica's Will?
I said not very often. You picked one card. Pick another.
Maskwood Nexus?
That's not a card that's ever been worth money.
It was worth almost $15, and then they reprinted it in one of the latest Commander Precons, and it went back down to
What
like
up,
5,
Time
6 bucks.
Capsule? Glad to have you here, buddy.
Um,
We're looking at Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
But I love this pre-release compared to the Final Fantasy pre-release box. That's how you do box art for a banger set, right? I would love to have as many of these as I can get my hands on.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's solid. It's definitely iconic. I think that that's one of the things that they're sticking with well in the art design of this set. And as we saw in the bundles as well, I think that using the comic form of writing, the way that they've done their cells as well, it looks a very comic book. And I like that they're sticking with that. Final Fantasy doesn't seem like it's got the same type of media presence. It being a video game, it's kind of got its own atmosphere. So putting that in print is kind of a hard crossover, it looks like. So I think Spider-Man, even though it's definitely not the set I was expecting it to be so far, it's nailing what it's setting out to be.
Did you guys watch the professor's video on like what he feels about the current era of Magic?
I don't believe I've caught that one yet. What's Brian saying now?
He's talking about how right this year 50% of Magic is not Magic, and then because of Universes Within or Universes Beyond.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then on top of that, the sets that are Magic don't feel like Magic. For instance, Aether Drift. Like nobody, I don't think anybody can go, yeah, that if I ever looked at that set and the art from that set, yeah, that's Magic the Gathering. Most of the art looks awful. And apparently people aren't calling them mustard cards, they're calling them piss cards, which is even worse in my
I mean, we call them the piss lands for a reason.
I was calling them mustard cards, but I don't know. More people are calling them piss cards than I thought. For some reason that didn't even come to my mind.
It's probably early onset diabetes. I don't know what to tell you, Matt. But I know what you mean. As far as his reference to hat sets, it's, hey, do you want to see Liliana with like a really cool Kangol hat from the 80s? Yeah, we got you. It's called Duskborn. Do you want to see everybody wearing cowboy hats? It's Thunder Junction. And I kind of feel that.
Detectives.
Yeah, right. Now they've all got fedoras or bowler hats. Yeah, drink more water.
I don't be that yellow. I drink water, plenty fine.
But I've felt that over the last year or two that the core of what Magic the Gathering has changed a lot, and it's not the typical sword and board fantasy Dungeons and Dragons inspired role that type of game that we used to see. The artwork and soul of Magic the Gathering has certainly changed incredibly so.
The question that I have for him, and I guess for you, if you agree with that, why does it matter what the cards look like? Why does it matter if they have fedoras? Like, at the end of the day, they're making the world up as we go. Like, they can literally change it to be whatever they want it to be. Like, if they want it to be dudes in fedoras, they can do that, and we just have to. I guess you could say you don't like it, but I don't think it's a problem. It just might not be to your play style. Some people might love it. I don't know. I don't see it as being as a big problem. It sounds like to him the way he was talking about it was like it's like ruining Magic. At least maybe it's ruining Magic for him only. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand why people would feel that way, why they could feel that way. And I've been playing Magic since the early 2000s. So let's say for about 20 years now. I remember some of my first Magic the Gathering purchases were for the 10th anniversary. I got like a collectible bag and everything. So in the 20 years I've been playing, it's always been changing a lot. I mean, the slivers and mirror, how the evolution of their art, they used to be weird little like gnome looking things, and then they were humanoid. It's constantly been changing, and it wasn't always just your regular sword and board. Again, back to Fifth Dawn and stuff, everything became artifacts. The eternities spread, and we got all of the Emrakul and all his bad boys. I think that this is fine to me. It's an evolution of the game that's been going for 30 years strong now. It's bigger than it's ever been. It's made more money than it's ever been. It's reaching more players and markets than ever. So I've got to say, like, objectively, it seems like it's good for the game, for the health of it. But as we've seen, and Bob's made me more aware of this than I would have been on my own, that they're making some really big mistakes in the way that they're handling it. So I'm not sure if all these dramatic changes are long-term for the best, but for right now, it's a really fun roller coaster ride.
We'll see where it goes. I mean, nobody knows anything, as you so keenly pointed out. There are those of us, Professor, that don't like it. The Universes Beyond has grown on me. I was never a fierce, what do you call it, opponent of the Universes Beyond. The bigger problem I have with the Universes Beyond is, I wouldn't even say that it's a Universes Beyond problem. It's a stylistic art problem where you make it difficult to read the board from a practical game playing sense, right? People put out cards like those poster art cards from the Lord of the Rings, and you're like,
what the heck is it, right? Yeah.
Like, okay, hand me that card. I need to read it. Hand me that card. It just slows the game down.
Yeah, the different versions definitely make it more difficult than ever.
So I wouldn't say I have more of a problem with the impact on gameplay that the special art versions of cards cause than specifically looking at a SpongeBob. So long as I know what SpongeBob does, he's across the table. I can read what he does. I know what he does. Okay. I may not like it. It may feel weird, but that's fine. I don't want to have to sit and you know, every other card that the player puts out on the table. Oh, that's a land? You know? Oh, that's an island? They're all yellow, piss colored.
Yeah, my buddy has the same kind of problem where if he can't really tell what the card is, back in the day, he used to be able to like see from across the table, oh, I know what that is, I don't even know how to read it. Nowadays, not only are there so many different versions of cards that you just have to know and keep up with, there's also proxy versions of the cards that are dramatically different, that don't follow the same kind of rules as, you know, the standard Magic the Gathering, where mana costs the top right. But now, even then, you got secret layers that also don't follow those rules. So whether they're proxies or secret layers or special showcase versions.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, some of the showcase versions don't look like Magic the Gathering cards anymore. I mean, half of the Lord of the Rings cards, whenever I watch somebody open that like $1,400 box, it's like, what game is this from? Is this from Magic the Gathering? And I've seen that so many times over and over. And shout out to Strixhaven with their Japanese only cards, making collecting real freaking easy. I think they're like 30,000. I don't know if people can even keep track of it at this point. Well, it's hard to tell.
There's 27,000 cards, sure, but
when you multiply that by 6,
when you play at the table with the same
showcase
for X amount of hours, they typically have similar decks, and being able to recognize the cards you've already heard before is definitely something that should, like, you know, card recognition is also the same as game recognition, in my opinion. Being able to recognize what game you're playing from across the table is somewhat important for some people.
Well, and at the speed that they're releasing new sets and new cards, and some of them are quite impactful, it's more difficult than ever to know the cards.
Sure. Yeah,
sure, I think that's what Coach was getting at, is that the library is growing. You know, we went from 3 sets a year to now, you know, well, we were at what, like 8 sets a year, and now we're down to 6 sets a year. So it's definitely, like you said, an evolving time frame. The thing is, all things evolve, no matter what game you're playing, whether it's Mario Brothers or Magic the Gathering. It's the speed at which it's evolving, and this is set to set evolution, right? There's no time to settle in. It's almost like eating dinner and then getting up and going running, right? You don't let your food have time to settle. and it's like that perpetually. That it's just constantly changing the landscape over the past 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah, the game has definitely evolved. That's for sure.
But rapid evolution
older
comes
sets
with pain.
Not even just visually, but also cards as well.
Sure. Like you wouldn't play cards from majority from 5 years beyond, right? Like most of the cards that are going to be in your decks nowadays are from newer releases.
Yeah, they're definitely more powerful nowadays.
I don't know. It was. I caught it earlier this morning, just from going through my YouTube feeds and then through it in our chat. I didn't realize they were already up for pre-sale. That was
6.5 months before its release is kind of ridiculous.
Didn't know to look out for it, so missed out on the more collector type products. I don't know if there were pre-release kits in there. Maybe not.
I didn't see any.
Pat, your mic's doing the funky thing again.
Oh, dear sweet God.
It sounds awful.
So I don't mind that I missed out on the collector box. That's fine.
Do.
It's better now.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much money of mine going out for Magic the Gathering products already at this point that I'm kind of fine not spending more right now. So
yeah, I mean everybody has to take that into consideration too. The thing I've been saying all day was, between Final Fantasy and Spider-Man, my wallet's already crying, and that leads into, I don't know, was it here or on DJ's show? I was actually on DJ's show this week or last week, and talking about I think it was last week, talking about revealing the Last Airbender set already, the third one in a lineup this year.
Oh yeah,
really hyping it for way down the road.
Oh yeah. They're letting people know that they need to save their money so they can spend every single dime on
people aren't going to save their money. They're going to dump most. Like, I'll bet you the spending pattern is going to go very similar to mine. But the bulk of my budget this year is going to go on Final Fantasy because it's first, then Spider-Man. If you had swapped those two, I'd probably dump a bunch on Spider-Man and Final Fantasy would suffer. And I think certainly The Last Airbender is going to suffer from being a smaller IP, from being a winter release when people are saving money for buying Christmas presents other than Magic. And it's going to be the third in a lineup of desirable Universes Beyond sets. So I think its sales are not going to be as strong as it normally would have been had there not been another Universes Beyond set this year.
See, that's the one I'm going to lean into the hardest. I got an inkling. I got a hope that it's going to feature more 5-color cards. Avatar, that Last Airbender, he was all about, conquering all the elements. I'm hoping, Bob. I'm hoping.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to do better than Final Fantasy. I think Final Fantasy will be the best-selling set this year.
I agree.
Oh, yeah, by leaps and bounds. I don't even think that that's a freaking competition, honestly.
Well, and not only that, they're releasing a holiday version of some product for Final Fantasy around the same time that you're going to have The Last Airbender. So it's going to be competing with that as well. So I just think that The Last Airbender really, went to the back of the bus.
Hey, something's got to be the worst set of the year, right?
My assumption
I think they're going to charge the same amount.
Yeah,
my assumption is it got spoiled because we had already had there was leaks that it was going to be Avatar, but it wasn't confirmed. Yeah. My assumption is that they were like, all right, fine, it's already got spoiled.
Why did it even have to be spoiled? Like they should have released it during their lineup. I feel like there's something going on over at WotC that feels very.
It's possible that it wasn't completely
scatterbrained yet. Like we don't know what we're doing, but we've got to do something. Leave a spot open for this, plug in Formula XYZ, and then we'll grab one of the IPs and go with it. Just saying.
They're typically over a year out.
Typically.
That's what my thought is.
I don't know if it's changed.
I don't know how much
I remember in the blog.
How many shells they could have built without the moniker for the set yet. the certain theme. But who the hell knows at this point? Honestly, it could have been part of like media. They just didn't want their brand out yet this early. Something like that.
Could be.
Maybe they didn't want their brand tied with everybody else. Spider-Man and Final Fantasy all on the same chart. There's no way that people are going to be as interested in Avatar, and we're clearly not.
And let's think about that. Within 6 months, in a 6-month span, in their print rack, meaning they're all going to be churning at the same time. You're going to have Final Fantasy, Spider-Man, and The Last Airbender. I think that's a mistake. Like, none of these came into being before Lord of the Rings went completely out of print. So there was no competition. Now you've got Universes Beyond, popular Universes Beyond, competing with each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for them to be competing with themselves at this point, to just put out more product that people want. I don't think that this is financially going to be a bad year for them. I think they're doing it.
No, but I think it's going to punish individual IPs. Because there's only so much money to go around.
I think it's definitely too many in 1 year.
I had expected we would see 1 a year. I think that would have been a much better pace. 3 in a year. I don't care what it's doing to the lore of Magic. I just think that it's going to sap people's wallets. It's going to make people retract a little bit more after the hangover hits. When they spend too much on Final Fantasy and Spider-Man and The Last Airbender, and then next year comes along and who knows what's going to hit SpongeBob, and people are going to go, yeah, you know what? I'm still trying to pay off my credit card debt from last year.
Yeah. Hopefully, don't do that, people. Don't put a bunch of stuff on credit cards.
Oh, but
unless your APR is like 0 or
no, you were right the first time, Matt. No.
Yeah.
If you have a 0 APR credit card, fine, but those typically don't last for longer than a year.
Okay, and then they're going to have it sitting there going, well, I'm not paying any interest on it, so I might as well let it sit. And then they buy more next year and more next year and more next year, and they can't pay it off because they're just upside down.
This is financial advice. Use a credit card only if you can pay it off every month. Never leave a balance. And if you have a cashback system, like not a sponsor, but I don't know, Citibank has a 2% cashback on everything.
PNC has it. All of them have it.
So definitely do some kind of cashback because it's literally just free money. As long as you don't play their game of never paying it off, if you pay for credit card every single month,
never carry a balance.
Like there's this when I was growing up, there was like a and even my dad, maybe I learned it from my dad, but he always thought that you had to carry a balance on your credit card so report it to the credit agencies. I'm like, no, you do not need to carry a balance. They have to report whether you have a balance.
Actually, it hurts you because of what's called available credit, or that's basically your available credit, and that hurts you. So if you're carrying a balance, it's not. The consistent payment counts if you pay it off at the end of every month. They like to see that. And when you're using your credit cards, that's I can't remember the actual term because I don't carry a balance. It actually penalizes you, and your credit score will be lower for your available balance being lower. Percentage, it goes by percentage.
Speaking of balance being lower, I don't think that it's so much the number of sets. I think it's the higher price and how freaking enticing they are.
And the speed. The speed at which they're coming out. They're too close together. 2 months apart.
The sets aren't even all that close together. It's the announcements. It's the way that they're putting information out. If anything,
2 months apart for those, and there's going to be sets between them.
Say it again.
I said it's 2 months from Final Fantasy to Spider-Man, and 2 months from Spider-Man to The Last Airbender, and there's going to be a set in between each of those.
We've got what?
No, not set between each of them.
Final Fantasy, Spider-Man, the space one,
no,
and Avatar.
Edge of Eternities.
Yeah, the space one. Yeah, so there's 5 sets for the rest of the year. Yeah, it's about every 2 months for the rest of the year, which is pretty much standard. We had it faster previously. The thing
Which
that's like throwing me off is that it's 2 universes beyond right next to each other, like back to back.
What's
Not
really
a
strange about the Edge of Eternity, it does not sound like a Magic set at all. When you say Edge of Eternity, it doesn't. I don't. Magic doesn't ring a bell. SpongeBob rings a more bell than Edge of Eternity.
I don't know, and I don't know. All I can say is that they did something that made me somewhat interested, which is what they do, but not really. Like I'm just. Oh, they showed the land art, right? Didn't they? For the Edge of Eternities.
I don't know.
They showed the artwork, but they didn't show spoiler cards at ChicagoCon.
Yeah, it's definitely all like sci-fi, like high science fantasy stuff, like bug people with wings and glowing staves. Like there's definitely starships and stuff.
Well, they showed like exploding planets, and which I assume are going to be like the land cards.
It's going to be a weird ass set.
Well, if I remember correctly, this is the one that we're talking about where it's like revisiting where the Eldrazi were like created or running from. One of the two.
I don't know, and so they'll probably put Eldrazi to be the selling feature of it, because Eldrazi are somewhat popular, but I don't have an Eldrazi deck.
No, but I know some people that do. I've definitely played against a couple.
Not a fun play style for me.
Yeah. They quickly become the enemy, which honestly, I like having an Eldrazi deck at the table because one, it's an overarching threat. So even people who are bad at figuring out like who the problem is, we all look at the dude swinging 10 10s on the table. Like that's the problem. And I like that, us all having an enemy to fight towards.
Sure. I'm just saying it's not a play style that appeals to me. So that's an easy set to skip as well as Tarkir for me.
You say that, but there are going to be some fancy full art lands they're going to get you, Bob.
Nope. No, way too much money on Final Fantasy and Spider-Man. That's it for me this year.
I think it'll be cool.
I mean, I hope it is for the game's sake and staying healthy and generating revenue and doing all that good stuff to make the game continue on. But it's just not for me. And I'm practicing what I preach, which is pick your spots. And I've said I've never held back saying that I was interested in Final Fantasy or the Spider-Man set. And I'm running out of room on my shelves down here, so gotta pick and choose.
Gotta buy a new shelf.
I was just saying, you can always buy new shelves. Even I know where to get them.
No, because then I'd have to clean up the space down here to figure out where to put a damn shelf.
I don't know.
It's already hard to walk around down here. I have to throw some stuff away. But I don't know. I think overall, it's going to be a decent year for Magic. I think they're kind of spending their gimmick equity. Like there's only so much gimmickry that'll carry the game. And
I will be curious to see how many Universes Beyond is next year. If it's 50% again, that'd be crazy.
Well, and I think people are going to be meh. It won't be as exciting.
They're going to start running out.
I mean,
I've said that, and people are like, "Oh no, there's so many IPs they can go after."
Yeah, that's not really a problem. It's just more about like, do they really want to do that?
Well, I think it's a problem within like a 5 to 10 year arc that they're going to hit the big ones first. I mean, it's hard to find a bigger IP than Lord of the Rings. Marvel's in that ballpark, but I mean, kind of.
Next is going to be the Spawn crossover that everybody's been looking for.
Well, they'll probably put Avatar with all the Naboo and
the blue ones. Jesus.
Yes, blue people in that Avatar.
Right. As long as they time it for the release of the third movie, whenever the hell that thing's coming out.
I think if they went after something like Zelda, would be huge.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
For real.
Zelda crossover could be interesting.
Yeah.
But I think Nintendo's even more tight-fisted than Disney.
Oh,
with their
Yeah. Nintendo's dicks. Whole bag full.
How many is that? How many is
Depending, white or black, I'm going to go with 7.
Wow. I didn't say how long. But
no, small bag.
It's very rapidly approaching that time, folks.
The call to action, yes, that's right. If you guys want to become channel members, that's a low price at 99 cents a month, and you'll be able to tune in to our series of box breaks and deck makes. Yes, that's right. Bob is going to be opening up an entire box of Dominaria Remastered and constructing a Commander Raids deck for use later on in the month of March. But
that's right. You get to watch me open product. That's not
it's a rarity there.
Very common sight anymore. So yeah, 99 cents this month gets you to see a exclusive Bob opening. That's right.
Like
you can watch my opening.
One of Bob's openings for 99 cents.
For the low price of 99 cents.
And that's how we got demonetized. That.
So yeah, consider it, please, and only if you can afford it. If you have to put it on a credit card and you can't pay off that 99 cents before the end of the month, don't do it.
It's 99 cents. True. Everybody can afford it. Come on, don't be a bitch. Like, realistically, you've wasted more than 99 cents on Magic this year already. Just become a member.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and hopefully our members are enjoying some of that. There is another thing that we're going to discuss on the member only stream after this show a little bit. It was an idea that we began tossing around behind the scenes for upcoming interaction with the audience, something hopefully fun for you guys. And it's going to be probably a member only interaction, but we'll discuss that more in the after show in about 3 minutes here.
Oh, so speaking of members only,
hot, folks.
Yeah, time capsule. We got to get together, play some more Terraria. I've been cracking out on my own worlds, and man, playing together was super fun. So we should.
We need to start putting more polls. Like, are people excited about the Spider-Man, or which set do they plan on?
We had a lot of fluctuation tonight. We started out with like 18 people right out the gate, and then it went down to like just us watching. So I don't know how much interaction we would have gotten out of polls tonight.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just in general, we have a lot of topical ideas, but I'd be curious to know what the audience thinks about the Universes Beyond sets, and which one are they buying, or which are they going to invest the heaviest in, or are they going to spread it evenly?
So we just started a live poll. If you're still with us on YouTube, go ahead to that comment section. Do you want more polls? Yes or no is the poll.
We got a poll for the polls.
I thought it was.
We got a poll.
Yeah, exactly. We're polling
along with a bag of dicks.
It's like a tractor truck trailer. He voted.
No polls. Got it. And
I was
your vote counts
with
twice.
my buddy, but then he lost his lizard that he's had since he was a child, so it made him sad and he didn't want to play. And then Monster Hunter Wilds came out, so then we just kind of switched to Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oh no! Now I'm conflicted. Time Capsule said no. Sherry said yes. I hate to tell you, Time Capsule, but I gotta lean towards Sherry. After all, we are getting married this year.
What are we voting for? We're voting for
more polls.
More polls.
More polls.
They want to see our polls.
I think polls are interesting. It's like the only way we can have people interact with the stream.
They're interested in seeing our polls.
More polls. That's on the after stream, unfortunately. You got to pay $1 to see the more polls.
Yeah, Bob's over there offering holes for 99 cents. Openings, sorry. Bob's openings.
I was about to say, what are you talking about? I said openings.
Holes, openings,
We might have to end this stream a little early, folks, and just head on over to the members stream before we get completely demonetized.
No, they don't check past fucking a minute of the video.
Yeah, right.
Wow, we made it almost all the way to the end, to the 45th minute before an F-bomb hit.
I was gonna say we
Yeah.
did really good on
How
the
they
couple.
only check the first minute of a video is kind of crazy to me.
All right, folks, but that's going to do it for us tonight for the freebie section. Like I said, hurry up. Just drop that 99 cents and you get to see us. It's the first of the month. You get a full month for 99 cents if you do it right now. And you get to watch me open some product.
Come on, it's the first of the month. Your food stamps just went through. Use a little bit.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, okay. I think on that, we need to end the stream, and we will see you over at the member-only section. Thanks for joining us this Saturday evening, and thanks for your time. We appreciate it, as always. If you don't join us on the member section, we'll see you next Saturday at 7.
Adios.
Bye, y'all.